And welcome back. We checked in with Jeff Brooks with Duke Energy during our 6 o'clock hour. We want to go back to Jeff now to see how things are going for those utility crews out there. Jeff, thank you for joining us yet again. Give us an update. What are y'all seeing out there at this point?
Well, Eric, we're seeing kind of similar conditions, lots of scattered outages around the area, about 7,000 customers looking at the numbers just now here in the Triangle. And those numbers jumped up a little bit recently. There's an outage over in Durham on Guest Road that's a fairly large one, but mostly smaller outages looking at the numbers that I'm seeing right now. And we're going to see that trend continue throughout the day as those winds get closer to the Triangle, because it's accompanied by all this rain in front of it. It's loosening the soil. When you add those gusts, you're going to see some more downed trees. The coastal areas are faring fairly okay. I mean, they're seeing several thousand outages. The good news is we have been out in the field. We have been making restorations. We've restored several thousand customers in the Triangle today so far. And as conditions are safe, we're keeping our crews out in the field where they can work and getting that work done.
Of course, Jeff, and I know this is obviously a very active storm. We still have a lot of the impacts here in the Triangle yet to go. And so it is difficult to make a call on what exactly those restoration times will be. But can you give us a sense at this point? I mean, how patient are folks going to need to be as y'all deal with these outages?
Well, I think always in these types of storms, we have to keep our crews safe. And so when those winds are 30 miles an hour and above, we're not going to be able to put our buckets up in the air. And that's where a lot of the repairs are. So in some of these cases, we're going to have to wait until conditions improve, or in those gaps between bands where we can make restorations. But I would say, I mean, we've been actively out restoring power. We've restored more customers than we have out. So that's a good sign. And we'll continue that throughout the day. So I do think you're going to see a lot of restoration today. Hopefully, we're able to get a lot of good traction, but a lot of it's going to depend on the working conditions and when those winds start to drop.
Yeah, absolutely. We want those crews to stay safe. And Jeff, going into this storm, we saw this thing coming this week. Were y'all able to stage crews and bring in some extra help to try to deal with these impacts?
Well, this is a storm that really is impacting. We're seeing outages as far over as the Triad. So we really couldn't shift our crews out of areas where we might see impacts until we were sure that those areas were clear. So what we do in those situations is we use our local crews, recognizing that within an hour, 2 hours away, we have several hundred more, several thousand more potentially that can be shifted to the hard hit areas so they can restore power. And that's going to happen as needed once these areas are clear that are currently being impacted by the storm. If we can move a crew, we will, but we're not going to sacrifice the local community. That's always our first priority.
Of course. Jeff, thank you so much. We know you're keeping a very close eye on this. We'll keep checking in with you to see how things are going throughout the morning. Thanks.
Great. Thanks.